Archery Talk, this is Lucas. Now, every year when I'm looking at our hunting bows for the shootout, one of the most popular videos I put together is on the speed test. However, it's not all about speed for me when I'm choosing a hunting bow. A lot of it is comfort and draw cycle. And so this year I'm going to look at my favorite draw cycles of all the hunting bows I've got in store this year. So without further ado, let's look at number one. So none of the bows I've got this year are pure speed bows. The speeds on all of them are fairly close. So choosing the draw cycle was a little bit tough because they all had pretty comfortable draw cycles for me. So the winner by the slightest of margin is the new Hoyt Carbon RX5. This is the favorite kind of carbon bow I've had a chance to shoot so far in my archery career, if you want to call it that, and let's kind of go over it right now. So I'm going to nock an arrow, and I'll walk you through the draw cycle a little bit. This bow is the slowest one I've got this year, which might have something to do with with how I feel about the draw cycle. It's got an IBO rated speed of 334 feet per second, and they're all set up at 70 pounds. So the draw on this one, what I like about it is it's very linear. There's a littlest dump at the very end, but it's comfortable. It's not a big, it doesn't feel like it's a huge dump into the valley where it's throwing you off your shot. It's very smooth, and letting it down is a pretty simple process. Not too jarring on the arm. Overall, pretty happy. Let's draw it one more time. Nice and smooth, right into the wall. And that's why it's number one. Second place for me, and it very well could have been first if you caught me on another day, is the Mathews V3. This one is a 342 foot per second IBO rated speed. It's 31-inch axle to axle. And this one for me is probably the easiest bow to draw. And the only reason I didn't make it number one is I think the Hoyt feels just a hair bit smoother. But this one really feels, again, it doesn't feel anything like a 70-pound bow to me. It's like a 65-pound bow. Let's draw this thing back. It's very easy draw, and it has a more pronounced dump into the valley. So it's not, again, for me, not quite as smooth as a Hoyt, but still very nice draw and dead easy. If you're looking for a bow that's easy to draw and super easy to let down, definitely the easiest to let down. This would be a very good choice for you. So I'm gonna draw one more time, and we'll let an arrow go. You can hear how quiet this baby is. Number three on the list this year is the Xpedtion X33. This is a 33-inch bow, and it's the fastest speed-rated bow this year at 350 IBO. It's, for me, a little bit stiffer than the Hoyt and the Mathews. Definitely feels a little heavier than the Mathews does anyway. We'll draw it back for you, and we'll kind of walk you through the process. So it's actually fairly easy at the start and builds hard towards the end. It's got a dip in the valley, not probably as pronounced a dip as the Mathews, but just it's a little bit stiffer getting there. And letting down is not terrible, little tougher than the Mathews, but again, this is not what I would call a hyper-aggressive bow. So I'm gonna draw it one more time, we'll let an arrow go, and then it gets bills right towards the end before the drop off. In fourth for me this year, out of the 4 hunting bows I'm testing, is going to be the Prime Nexus 32. Now, just because I've got it in fourth doesn't mean this is a bad bow to draw. Far from it. It's got a very typical Prime draw cycle. I'm just finding it a little bit stiffer than some of the other bows I'm testing. It's probably closest to the Xpedtion as far as the general feel of things, but it's feels a little bit tougher to draw. It's actually very smooth in draw cycle, much less dip into the valley than some of the others, but overall, a bit of a stiffer draw experience. So we'll go through here. And it's just right here is when it gets a little stiff, and you open it up, and the valley is actually, it rolls very smoothly into the valley. It's not aggressive in that at all, which I really like. And letting it down is not too bad if you can control where the kind of the reverse of that dip. So we'll draw one more time. We'll let off a shot. Yeah, just the beginning of that is a little bit stiffer before the drop in there, but it's a very easy drop. All right, Archery Talk, I think that's about it for now. Again, all of these bows, because the IBO rated speeds and what I'm assuming are going to be the actual speeds are pretty close together. The draw cycles are all fairly comfortable and good. But again, I'm going to give the slight nod, goes to the Hoyt Carbon RX5, just over the Mathews. But really, any of these bows would serve anybody well in the woods. There's not those kind of pull your shoulder out of the socket kind of bows. They're all going to be pretty good, so go test them out at your local dealer and see what you like for yourself.